Welcome to this deep dive. And we're going to be talking all about Vajrasana, the Thunderbolt pose.
Sounds powerful.
It does.
Yeah.
Where you sent in some fascinating articles.
Yeah.
Like a really interesting mixed research, traditional yoga guides, even personal stories.
Yeah, it's great.
So we're going to try to unpack what makes this pose so unique.
Okay.
And, maybe why it's more than just another stretch.
Yeah, it's interesting. Vajrasana, it does have a kind of reputation that goes beyond just a simple yoga pose. Like one of the things that comes to mind is it's one of the few that's recommended after meals.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Most yoga advice, like you said, is like empty stomach.
Right.
Do your practice, before you eat.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought, too.
Yeah.
When I first heard about it, I was like, wait, you're supposed to do this after you eat?
Yeah.
But I guess if you look at the name Vajrasana Thunderbolt pose, it does kind of hint at like a more powerful effect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a gentle stretch. It's got some like force behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Vajra, like Indra's legendary weapon, was said to be like incredibly potent. So applying that to a yoga pose, it's like, okay, this is working on some deeper levels.
Yeah.
Maybe even energetic ones beyond just the purely physical.
Wow. Okay. So we've got this intriguing name, this unusual practice time.
Right.
Let's dive into the benefits.
Yeah.
One thing that stood out in these articles is how consistently Vajrasana is linked to like better digestion.
Right. And that's where the post-meal practice comes in, It's not just that it helps digestion in general, but it's specifically recommended after you eat.
Okay.
That's pretty unique. And a lot of sources mention how it stimulates your abdominal organs. It improves blood flow to the digestive system. And even applies like gentle pressure to aid digestion.
But wouldn't the pressure like make things worse? Especially after a big meal.
Yeah.
Like it seems kind of counterintuitive to compress your stomach when it's already full.
Right. That's a great question. And it really highlights how this pose is working on multiple levels, So while there's gentle pressure, there's also a stimulation of like specific energy channels, according to like traditional yoga texts. And this helps kind of move energy through the digestive system. And that prevents sluggishness and bloating.
Oh, okay. So it's not just like a physical massage. There's like an energetic component as well.
Exactly.
Makes you think about the whole digestive process in a whole new way.
Right.
Several articles also mentioned benefits for muscles and joints.
Yeah.
Especially in the legs and back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Vajrasana really strengthens the thighs, particularly the quadriceps and hamstrings, which are, crucial for stability and mobility.
Right.
And because you're kneeling, it also works the ankles and can even help improve flexibility in the knees.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. But I'm curious about the back benefits.
Yeah. Like how can a kneeling pose affect the spine?
It's all about alignment. When you sit in Vajrasana correctly, with your spine erect and your pelvis tilted slightly forward, it naturally lengthens the spine and decompresses the vertebrae. And this is why it's often recommended for people with lower back pain or sciatica.
So it's like a gentle traction for the spine.
Kind of, yeah.
Some sources even mention relief from rheumatic pain. It's starting to sound like a cure-all.
Well, it's certainly a versatile pose.
Yeah.
And we haven't even touched on the circulatory and metabolic benefits yet. Several studies indicated that Vajrasana can help regulate blood pressure.
Wow.
And even support weight management through improved metabolism.
So we've got benefits for digestion, muscles, joint circulation, even weight.
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued by like the mental and emotional effects that were mentioned in some of the articles. Like, how can a physical pose have such a profound impact on our mental state?
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like this pose is tapping into some like hidden connection between our physical body and our inner world.
Yeah, totally.
Some sources mention the vagus nerve.
Right.
And how Vajrasana can stimulate it. I'm not really familiar with that. What exactly does the vagus nerve do?
So the vagus nerve, it's like a communication highway between our brain and our internal organs, particularly those involved in like digestion and relaxation. So when a Vajrasana stimulates the vagus nerve, it triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for like calming us down and promoting a state of rest and digest.
It's like hitting the relax button on our nervous system.
Exactly. Yeah.
That would explain why some articles mentioned reduced anxiety and stress, even a sense of like mental stability.
Yeah, exactly. And this calming effect is further enhanced by the pose's impact on breathing.
Okay.
When you sit in Vajrasana, your diaphragm is naturally encouraged to move more fully, leading to deeper, slower breaths. And this kind of breathing has been shown to reduce cortisol levels,
Okay.
which is the hormone associated with stress.
Right. So we're calming the nervous system, deepening the breath.
Right.
But some sources went even deeper,
Mm.
talking about the energetic effects of Vajrasana,
Mm.
specifically its connection to the chakras.
Right.
Now, I have to admit, chakras are a bit outside my comfort zone.
Sure.
Can you break that down for me?
Of course, in many yogic traditions,
Okay.
chakras are energy centers located along the spine,
Okay.
each associated with specific, physical, emotional, and spiritual qualities. Vajrasana is believed to particularly influence the root and sacral chakras,
Okay.
which are located at the base of the spine.
And what are those chakras all about? I know they're more than just anatomical points.
Right, so the root chakra is associated with grounding, stability, and security, while the sacral chakra governs creativity, emotions, and our sense of connection. So by stimulating these chakras, Vajrasana can bring about a sense of groundedness, emotional balance, and even enhanced creativity.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It connects back to what we were saying earlier about Vajrasana having this grounding, stabilizing effect, not just physically, but emotionally as well.
Exactly. And this makes it a powerful preparatory pose for meditation,
Okay.
which several sources emphasize.
Yeah.
By grounding the body and calming the mind, Vajrasana creates an ideal internal environment for deeper meditative states.
Okay. I'm starting to get a sense of why this pose is considered so powerful.
Yeah.
But let's get practical for a moment.
Sure.
The sources mention some specific breathing techniques
Right.
that can be used during Vajrasana practice. Do those really make a difference?
They absolutely can.
Okay.
Just like the pose itself can influence breathing, specific breathing practices can amplify the benefits of Vajrasana. For example, Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing is known for its balancing and calming effects on the nervous system.
And what about Ujjayi breath?
Yeah.
That's the one that sounds like the ocean, right?
That's the one.
Okay.
Ujjayi breath is often used in more dynamic yoga styles,
Okay.
but it can also be incredibly effective in Vajrasana. It helps to build heat and focus while also creating a rhythmic sound that can further soothe the nervous system.
So it's not just about holding the pose, it's about using the breath to deepen the experience.
Exactly.
But what about the post-meal practice?
Yeah.
Do you really have to sit in Vajrasana right after every meal?
Well, it's not about being rigid,
Okay.
It's about finding what works for you.
Okay.
Even 5-10 minutes after a meal can make a difference. The key is consistency.
Right.
Some clinical studies mentioned in these articles suggest practicing for at least 10 minutes daily
Okay.
for several weeks to see noticeable changes in digestion, stress levels, and overall well-being.
So it's more like a lifestyle change than a quick fix. But it's good to know that even a small amount of daily practice can have a cumulative effect.
Exactly.
Of course, we have to address the precautions as well.
Of course.
Are there any situations where Vajrasana is not recommended?
Yeah, that's an important point.
Okay.
The sources were very clear about contraindications.
Hmm.
Anyone with recent knee injuries, spinal cord disorders,
Okay.
intestinal issues, or recent surgeries should avoid Vajrasana
Okay.
or consult with their doctor before trying it. Pregnancy was also mentioned as a situation where modifications might be necessary.
And for people who can't comfortably kneel, the chair variation seems like a great alternative.
Absolutely. You can still experience many of the benefits by sitting on a chair with your feet flat on the floor and your spine straight.
Right.
It's a wonderful reminder that yoga can be adapted to fit everyone's needs.
Yeah.
What really struck me in these articles was the research on Vajrasana's potential for managing blood sugar levels. That could be a game changer, especially with rising diabetes rates globally.
Especially since it's such an accessible practice.
Right.
And speaking of real-world applications, one study even mentioned its benefits for sarcopenia,
Right.
which is age-related muscle loss.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that this one pose could address so many aspects of healthy aging.
Right, it is.
Yeah, that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. We're seeing how ancient wisdom can be applied to modern health challenges in really profound ways.
Yeah, but it's important to remember that even a seemingly simple pose like Vajrasana should be practiced mindfully.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, some sources mention potential risks, like knee pain or discomfort if the pose isn't done correctly.
Right.
So that's why proper guidance, especially for beginners, is crucial. It's about finding the right modifications,
Right.
listening to your body's signals, and progressing gradually.
So it's not just about blindly following instructions.
Right.
It's about understanding the principles behind the pose
Yeah.
and applying them intelligently.
Well said. And that brings us to a crucial question. How can we integrate this ancient wisdom into our modern lives in a way that's sustainable and effective?
Yeah, it feels like we've uncovered this treasure chest of benefits,
Yeah.
both physical and mental.
Right.
But now the question is, how do we actually apply this knowledge?
Right.
It's easy to get all excited about a new practice.
Right.
But making it part of your life is a whole other challenge.
That's so true. It's like learning any new skill. Consistency is key.
Right.
Maybe it's starting with just a few minutes of Vajrasana each day.
Okay.
And just noticing how you feel before and after. Or maybe it's incorporating it into your existing yoga routine.
Right.
And paying closer attention to the subtleties of the pose.
Right, like those breathing techniques that we talked about.
Exactly.
Ujjayi breath or Nadi Shodhana.
Yeah.
It's almost like layering these practices to enhance the effects.
Right.
And you mentioned that Vajrasana is often used as preparation for meditation.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes a noticeable difference?
It definitely can. By grounding the body and calming the mind,
Right.
Vajrasana creates a more stable foundation for meditation.
Okay.
It's like preparing the soil before planting a seed.
Yeah.
You're creating the optimal conditions for growth.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
So for someone who's new to all this,
Yeah.
where would you recommend they start? Should they just dive headfirst into the full 10-minute practice or ease into it?
It's always best to start slowly and listen to your body.
Okay.
Begin with just a few minutes each day, focusing on proper alignment and breath awareness.
Okay.
As you build strength and flexibility, you can gradually increase the duration. And remember, consistency is more important than intensity.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
Makes this practice seem more approachable.
Yeah.
Less intimidating.
Right.
And it goes back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
It's about integrating this wisdom into our lives in a way that feels sustainable.
Exactly.
It's not about adding another item to our to-do list,
Right.
but about finding ways to enhance our overall well-being.
Exactly. And that might look different for everyone,
Right.
For some, it might be about incorporating Vajrasana into their daily routine
Okay.
to manage stress or aid digestion. For others, it might be a gateway to exploring deeper aspects of yoga and meditation.
So we've gone from this seemingly simple kneeling pose to a multifaceted practice with benefits for the body, mind, and even energy.
It's really incredible how much depth there is to uncover.
It is. As we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm left wondering about the potential implications of what we've discussed.
I think that's the most exciting part. We've explored the research, the traditional wisdom, the
Right,
practical applications, but the real discovery begins when you, the listener, take this knowledge and apply it to your own life.
Right.
Maybe Vajrasana becomes a regular part of your self-care routine, a tool for navigating the challenges of modern life.
Or maybe it sparks a deeper curiosity about yoga mindfulness and the interconnectedness of our being.
Right.
Whatever path you choose, we hope this deep dive has empowered you to explore the transformative potential of this ancient practice.
Absolutely.
And we leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Given Vajrasana's unique ability to be practiced after meals, could it be a key to managing blood sugar levels, especially in a world where diabetes is on the rise?
How might incorporating this pose into your daily life impact not just your physical health, but your overall sense of well-being? That's something to ponder as you continue your own exploration. Until next time, keep diving deep.